Okay. So good morning, everybody. It's Friday. As somebody put in the chat, do we even know what day it is anymore? It's funny how things just spill into each other. I was thinking today, what do I want to teach? Knowing that I'm not going to be doing this next week, but I will come back the week after because I just have a really unforgiving teaching schedule. And I thought, what do I really want to impart? And every morning when I do this, I'm coming from a heartfelt place. I don't have preparation. I just sense into what feels right. And this morning, like a lot of people, because of all the pollen, I have pretty bad allergies. I've always had really bad hay fever. And I thought, I don't feel like modifying my breath. And I want to talk to you guys about this for a moment. So at the beginning of the week, I was interviewed by this lovely woman writing a book called The Yoga Radicals or something like that, about people who are trying to orchestrate change. And she said, how do you decide what you do? And I said, I wish I was somebody with a plan, but I just sit honestly with what I need and what it seems like the world needs. And that's how I decide. I'm not this well-organized business person. It's just not what I do. And I thought about, and she said, well, how do you decide on what practice you're going to do in the morning? And I said, well, I sense in, I've been doing meditation and yoga for more than half my life, right? I'm 43 and I started at 19. And I just wake up and I say, what do I really need? And this morning, if I'm to be really honest, what I really need is to not modify my breath. And I want to talk to you about that. There are times where pranayama doesn't seem appropriate, where the body and mind are just asking to be watched and for there to be a waiting. Maybe it's because there's been a lot of strain. Maybe there's an internal stillness and the mind and body just want to be with that. Maybe it's because you have a headache. There's various different reasons why. But this morning, what I want to do, especially since I won't be here next week, and I want you guys to practice on your own, and maybe you can do that with some of the YouTube videos, but also from your own intuition, is to really sit with me and sense into what aspect of your breath you might want to change. Or maybe like me today, you just want to be with what is, right? So breath practice, pranayama, is like a regulation tool. So we're shifting state on purpose. But there are moments in life that we need to either be with experience and not shift, or we truly actually just want to not shift. We want to just sense into what's arising for me in this moment and just watch with this, what we would call metacognition, like watching over ourselves. So I'm going to guide us into that, finding individually what we need. And maybe like me, doing nothing but watching. So have your eyes downcast or closed, your back upright, but that does send a signal to your brain to be more aware and alert. The chin slightly tucked, the chest open, and the shoulders only slightly rolled back. Feel your hands on your legs or in your lap or wherever they are. Your body on the ground. Sense into your energy levels this morning. Are they strong? Are you tired? Do you feel lucid or cloudy? There isn't a, it should be like this. There is just a, let me sense into what is real in this moment, what is true for me. And how is breath? Sense into its various qualities. And there's a quality beyond words, but I'll also give you some things to consider. Does it feel shallow or weak? long, deep. Does it feel subtle or harsh? Is it something you want to connect to? Or is there resistance? Is there a different level of comfort between the inhale and the exhale? Do you sense a tiredness when you breathe into your lungs? Neutrality or energy? There's so much to watch in breath. Does your mind naturally tend towards the breathing in and out of the nose, or can you feel your whole body breathing? And I'm just going to give you a minute to watch the breath without my words before the next instruction. And now ask yourself honestly, what does my breath need? Or what do I need? It might be what do I need, but I prefer this question sometimes so that there isn't just the I deciding it for the breath, that the breath kind of decides it for the self. Ask your breath this question first. Is it right to modify you this morning? Are you open to that? Or do you just want me to be? And if the question is, I don't want to be modified right now, I just want to be watched and attended to, then maybe do that. And the rest of the instructions or guidance, let go of. My voice is in the background, and your breath is your guide. You're just watching it. And if your breath says, I can be changed, what feels right? Do you want to bring your breath down? Do you need a little bit more breath in the lower lungs? If so, go ahead and do that. Not in a forceful way, in a way that feels comfortable, that's meeting your need, that's meeting the breath need, not pushing beyond it. Is your breath asking to be longer on the inhale or exhale? And I so often talk about elongating the exhalation for reducing anxiety. But maybe this morning that's not what your breath wants. Maybe it has its own agenda. Maybe the breath wants to be done in an ujjayi fashion on the inhale or exhale, so that it's more rarefied and controlled. Whatever it is you choose, can you stick to that? Unless your breath so strongly says, I've done that enough now, I'll try something else. And for those of us newer to breath practice, we can get lost in the analyzing mind. Oh, I should do this. No, I should do that. No, I should do this. Try to let go of that, the need to constantly find what's exactly right. There's nothing about perfection here. So just sense into and allow that to be the practice. And if the mind is discussing it too much, to say, mind, I decided I'm following breath. And we're going to practice in this way now for the next 7 or 8 minutes, just like this. Just doing that thing that your breath asked for. Might even be a slowing down of rate and nothing else. In yoga, breath, prana, that's the word that we use, also means life force. And so it does have its own energy, its own needs. And sometimes we say, rather than we are breathing, that we are being breathed. And it's nice to surrender in this way on occasion. It's a dance, the practice of self-cultivation, between knowing when something needs to be changed and having the discipline to do that, and knowing when something shouldn't be changed. And all that is required is our presence and awareness. When I was living in the monastery with my teacher, Dhammarakita, I once asked him, how do I know when I should alter what I'm experiencing through the practices you've taught me versus when I should stay? And he just smiled and he said, yes, that's the whole practice. In other words, it's a lifetime to start to understand that and allow it to unfold, to sense into what's right for us moment by moment. But we get better at it. I'm certainly better at it now. Really try to stay present with this practice. It might not be the most exciting, But possibly it's the most important, handing over to you the empowerment to decide for yourself, to understand there isn't one way. We're going to practice like this just for 2 more minutes. What my breath is telling me this morning is I want lots of pauses. There's a real waiting after the inhale and the exhale. And I'm just allowing it. And I know that when we watch our breath, we modify it to the best of my ability. I'm just trying to allow the breath to inhale in when it wants to, waiting. And the same on the exhale. And now you can continue with this practice, but we're going to bring in the aspect of meditation as well. Watching the mind, seeing if it goes out, away from breath. Bringing it back. And if you are modifying breath on purpose, maybe you want to let go of this now and just watch. But if breath is really being asked to change and you want to continue that, that's okay. But otherwise, watch. Watch the inhale from the very beginning to the end. And the natural waiting that you might have before the exhalation arises. And the exhalation from the beginning to the end. And noticing again, is there a pause? Is there a waiting? Before the inhale. And as the mind goes out into thinking, you can just mentally note thinking, 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 and then come back to the natural inhale and exhale. And if the mind wants to do something else more exciting, can you just watch that? And commit to staying present anyway, to not getting up or moving, changing position, or leaving the Zoom meeting to do something else. And you just sit for the next 5 minutes and watch for wait. Continuing to bring the mind back if it has gone out. And in this last minute, with this developed attention, quality of mindfulness, I want you to consider 5 things you are grateful for. I used to have to do this practice every morning in the monastery. My teacher called it the 5 gratitudes. So I would say things like, you had to compare to recognize how lucky you are. So for example, I am so fortunate to feel healthy in this moment when so many people in the world are unwell. I am so fortunate to have enough food to eat when there are so many beings that don't, like that. So just 5 of those for yourself. No matter what we don't have, we all have things we can be grateful for. It's so important to shift the mind's attention towards those things because the mind tends in the opposite direction. It's just a survival mechanism to focus on what we don't have, what we don't like. It's the way the brain operates. But we can retrain it. Thank you so much for your practice this morning and for staying present with this. As usual, I'll answer questions just for the 9 minutes because I have to go at 8:40 this morning. I'd love to know what you're grateful for, just one thing in the chat if you want to write it. And if you just want to remain meditating for the next 9 minutes with me and not write anything, just stay present, that's fine as well. If there are any questions, let me know. I'm here. You can raise your hand through the feature on the bottom where it says participants, or you can unmute yourself. And if there are no questions, then I might just go make breakfast. Oh, you're all saying such sweet things to me. Thank you. Oh, it's nice to read everything. It's nice to read everything that you're writing. Lovely. So many things to be grateful for. Yeah. It's nice if you're reading in the chat as it comes up. It's really heartwarming to just watch what everybody's saying. Imagine if this was what people did on social media rather than complaining. How different the world would be. How different we would all feel. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So I'll just keep watching. I'm going to assume that there are no questions this morning, which is fine with me. Lovely. Okay. So I wish you a wonderful week ahead. I promise to be back the following week. I am again teaching that breath workshop on Monday from 3 to 6 and the full anxiety course. It's an accredited training with the International Association of Yoga Therapists from Thursday to Monday of next week, and then part of the Yoga for Health course on Tuesday and Wednesday. But yeah, I'll be back the week after, and I will also schedule on a retreat. So we'll have some more time together. But in the meantime, watch the YouTube stuff. Continue to do it every morning. It's really important to build up that discipline. And maybe there's just one practice you like, so do that one. You know, I found something that I like to do every morning, like a physical practice, and I've been watching that woman on YouTube every single morning, and I find that I don't need to change it. I'm just happy with that. So yeah, if you have one that you feel like that with, that's really useful. Okay. I'm going to let you all go now because, oh, her name. It's not a yoga practice. It's like an intense ab workout. I'm not sure that everybody would want to do that. It's just something I like, but it's Pamela Reif. She's some kind of like fitness model person. It's not normally what I would suggest for everybody else, but for some reason she hooked me. If you want to look it up, Pamela Reif, R-E-I-F. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Namaste. Take care. Blessings.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 I'm going to end it now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, Mary Rose.
Bye, Bye everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.